Hi everybody, welcome back. This will be our second video in chapter 3. In this video, we're looking at both adding and subtracting fractions, what we have on the board, and then we will look at an example where we are multiplying and dividing fractions. For each one of those, I'm going to work through an example. I'm going to verbalize what I feel are the 4 steps to, in this case, adding or subtracting fractions. Your job will be to try and follow along and try and populate or write down the steps as I verbalize them. Okay, so here we go. In this example, we have 1 3/8 plus -2 3/4. So our first step, and this will be step 1, we have mixed numbers here where we have wholes and parts. Wholes and parts, those are called mixed numbers. We are going to convert those mixed numbers into improper fractions. That is our first step. Step 1 is to convert mixed numbers to improper fractions. So here's how that looks for us with 1 3/8. If 8 is a whole, we're going to need to multiply 8 times 1. So 8 times 1 is 8, and then we need to add the 3 parts to it. So that is 1 times 8 is 8, plus 3 is 11. We have 11 things that are 1/8 big, or 11 eighths. Okay, in this next one, I'm going to get rid of this double sign right away. I'm going to get rid of that double sign right away. Now, here we have a positive and a negative. Those two signs are opposites. Whenever we have two opposite signs, it will turn into a negative. So for adding a negative, this will just turn into subtracting. We're going to convert 2 3/4 into an improper fraction. If we have 4 on the bottom, we can do 4 times 2. And then we're going to add the 3 on top. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. And just note that our denominators, what we started with, our denominators still have to stay the same. Okay? And these are called improper fractions because our numerator, or our top, is bigger than the bottom, which is the denominator. So they're called improper. Okay, step 2. Step 2 is going to be to find a common denominator. When we're finding a common denominator, we're essentially, looking for the lowest common multiple for 8 and 4. Lowest common multiple for 8 and 4. And in this case, it's going to be 8. So how I like to write this next line is to say, okay, well, I want to get both of these fractions so that their denominators are 8. So I'm going to start with the framework. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, let's just break this down. Let's just deal with this 11 over 8. To write that as a fraction with 8 as the denominator, hey, it's already done for us. So this 11 just gets copied down. This one, we have to go to get from 4 to 8, we have to multiply by 2, so therefore we have to do the same in our denominator. So 11 times 2 would be 22. So again, our second step is to find a common denominator. Okay, our step 3 is to add or subtract the numerators and then leave the denominators the same. So we are going to add or subtract the numerators. So 11 minus 22, combining a couple things in here. So I want to do this little side operation where I want to do 11 minus 22. So I like to use a number line for that. We will have talked about this in class before we get to this question, but 11 minus 22 We can start at positive 11. Positive 11 is going to be somewhere over on to the right of 0. This negative sign is going to tell us to, hey, let's go to the left 22 spaces. So we go to the left, or conceptually think about traveling from here all the way over. We know we're going to end up past 0 because, hey, well, to get to 0, we'll have to go 11, but we're being asked to go all the way 11 minus 22. So we're going to end up over here somewhere, and this number is going to end up as negative 11. So step 3, the whole purpose of us doing this is step 3, we are adding or subtracting the numerators. Our numerator becomes negative 11. Our denominators are going to stay the same. So our denominator is going to stay as 8. Okay, and then step 4 is just to simplify this fraction, and usually we convert it back to a mixed number. So converting this back to a mixed number, how many times does 8 go into 11? Oh, well, that's going to be 1 time with 3 left over. And then we need to recognize that, hey, our negative sign, we can't lose track of that. We'll be talking lots about negatives. And that would be the answer to this question. So our steps again are, step 1 is to convert to your mixed numbers to improper fractions. Step 2 is to find a common denominator. Step 3 is to add or subtract the numerators. The denominators stay the same. Step 4 is to reduce, and generally we reduce to a mixed number. Okay, now we'll look at one where we are multiplying and dividing. Here we go.